Hey, good afternoon. My name is Jason Myers. My brother Josh is behind the camera there, and we've started Myers Flies about a year ago, and just a couple of Pennsylvania boys who really enjoy being out in God's creation on the creek and in the woods. And hopefully this is the first of maybe several videos in the series to be helpful to you as you get out on the water and enjoy the beautiful resources that God's given to us. And so I'd like to give a shout out to a couple people who have helped us along the way, get us to where we are. We're certainly not professionals by any means, and so a lot of you critics out there, you can keep your comments to a minimum. We're not claiming to be professionals. You want that, you can go pay for that at a guide service somewhere. But we are thankful for the people who have helped us along the way. And we want to be helpful to you and kind of pass along some things that we've learned along the way. And certainly we want to thank our Creator and His Son Jesus Christ for the opportunity to be out here in this beautiful creation that He's made, and to know that we have eternal life. And that's a beautiful gift right there. And then I'd like to give a shout out to the Holsingers at HolsingersFlyShop.com. Ron Holsinger and Sean Holsinger are some tremendous friends of ours, great friends, have helped us, taught us a lot of things. Pat Smith, who works there at the fly shop as well. Just some great guys, world-class people. You need to check them out. They've been a big help to us, getting us started, and have taught us a lot of things. I'd like to give a shout out to Tom Bergensmith, who showed me a lot of water around south central Pennsylvania, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for people who would take time to invest in someone else coming along. And I think sometimes we get maybe discouraged because maybe you're new to fly fishing, you've been bait fishing, or just getting out in ponds and lakes and things like that, which is great, and you're trying to get into fly fishing, and it kind of seems like an elite group where you're not welcome, or where if you don't have $1,000 setup, you're not going to do any good. Well, I can tell you, you don't need all of those fancy things. Not that they're bad, but to get started out, you just need some basic things. We'll cover that probably in another video. But get out and enjoy some things, learn some things. There's some ethical things that you need to know. There's some things that will make your time on the water better, and the people that are around you, it'll make their time on the water better. And hopefully we can cover some of those things in this series of videos. I hope it will be a help to you. Today, we're going to concentrate on getting stuck and unstuck, or shall I say, not getting stuck, and if you do, how to get unstuck. And if you're fishing anywhere, you're going to get stuck at some point. And so we're going to go over a couple things in this episode that'll just kind of help you, if it does happen that you do get stuck, how you can get unstuck without getting your line tangled in the trees above you and other things around you. So I hope it's a help to you, and be sure to check us out at MyersFlies.com, and be sure to like us on Facebook. Again, just a couple of Penns Woods boys who grew up in the outdoors, and we want to be a help to you. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to be talking about the topic that I think we all know a little something about, and that's getting hung up on the bottom. When you're running your drift through, and if you're doing it right, you're going to be bouncing off the bottom, you're going to get stuck from time to time. Well, then you start to pull on that line, and if you pull too aggressively, you can end up in a tree behind you, a bush over here, and you go from one place being stuck to another place being stuck. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a little thing that I do if I get caught on the bottom, and it helps me not to get caught up in a tree behind me. So let's see if we can get caught up. Okay, here we got a little bit of a snag right here on the bottom. You can see the line is tight. What I like to do is pull the line back in as far as I can go. It's gonna stop a lot of excess line being thrown behind you. Pull it down as tight as you can get it to the place where it's caught up, and jiggle it back. And there you go. You don't fling it behind you, you don't fling it this way. That'll help you have a better time on the water. They would like to talk a little bit more about how not to get tangled up and get caught up. Fishing the plunge hole that's there behind me, I don't know if you can see back over my shoulder here, in those plunge holes, a lot of time those fish will stack up. And so if you can get some good weight on and get down fast, you have a good time, good chance of catching a fish there that's maybe in that plunge hole. However, if you're running a double fly rig or a tandem rig where you've got a fly and then a dropper fly off of that, oftentimes in that swirly somewhere you can get tangled up. The other thing is the split shot. I don't know if we can zoom in on the split shot that I have here. I've got three little split shots, and they're spaced probably about 2 inches apart. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the flies and the split shot to tumble other than tangling around. If those split shot get too close together, what's going to happen is it's going to have a greater chance of tangling. And so if you put your split shot out a little bit, and then oftentimes in that plunge hole type setting, what I'll do is just maybe run one fly instead of the tandem fly rig. So that way it kind of limits your chances of getting stuck. So you're going to get stuck if you're fly fishing for any length of time. You're going to get stuck at some point. But if you can kind of limit those opportunities, maybe you catch some more fish. So that's a little tip, maybe help you out on the water. I'd like to talk about the tippet size that I use on my dropper fly. This is going to help you if you do get snagged on the bottom, or you get snagged on a little limb or something like that. It's going to help you to be able to maybe just lose one fly instead of your whole rig. We've all had that happen where you're fishing, you get caught up, you got to snap that line off, and then you lose your whole setup. And so something that I do in running a tandem rig, or what we call a tandem rig or a dropper setup, is you have your lead fly here, and then you're going to run something a foot to 18 inches of a lighter material tippet. So a lot of times what I'll do is kind of drop into a 6X tippet or 7X, but typically in a 6X tippet, I'm going to drop down into there for my bottom fly, because most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, if you're going to get caught up, it's going to be on that heavier bottom fly. And so if you do get caught up, that lighter tippet allows you to be able to snap that off, and then at least you only lose one fly. The other thing that I do, if I do get caught up and I have to snap off that fly, you don't want to pull on your rod. Chances are your rod tip could break. Or something like that could happen to your rod. You don't want to do that. What I like to do is kind of just come back, pull the slack up out of my line, and hold on to the line and pull straight back on the rod until that line snaps. What that's going to do is it's going to take the pressure off of your reel, off the reel seat, and you're going to hold on to that line, pinch it in there between your fingers and your rod, and pull straight back. It's not going to put any pressure on your guides, line guides, anything like that. And that way you can get free from the bottom, only lose one fly, and get right back to fishing. Hope that tip helps. Something I like to talk about when we talk about tangles is when you're fishing around this low-hanging limbs, a lot of times that can be a great spot to fish because it puts shade over a little hole or a little pocket here along the bank. But the problem is when you're drifting in here, you want to lift your rod up, you get tangled up here in the top of the trees, or when you go to set your hook, you throw the rod back, you miss the fish, the line gets tangled up in the tree. So what I like to do is I like to keep it low to the water. Keep your rod low to the water so everything is done low. If I'm going to cast in here, I simply throw it up this way and just allow that current to take it down. And if I do set, I'm going to set downstream with the current, because the fish is typically facing upstream. The food's coming downstream and they're taking the food. So if I'm going to be nymphing here, I'm going to keep my rod low. I'm going to flip it in this little pocket over here. I'm going to let the current take it down. And if I need to set the hook I set it downstream. Setting it downstream keeps it below those branches. And then again, when I want to come back up, I simply keep the rod a little bit lower. So that'll keep you out of the bushes, into the water where the fish are. Then something else to avoid tangles is when you're ready to move to that next spot, go ahead and pull your line up, put it on your hook keeper. If you don't have a hook keeper, you can wrap it around the back of your reel, back up on an eyelet, and then secure that line, not too tight, but that way when you're walking, it doesn't bounce all around and get tangled for you. Hey, thanks for watching today. Remember to look us up on Facebook, on Myers Flies, also myersflies.com. When you're out here in God's beautiful creation, remember that He created you with a purpose, that He loves you, and He wants to have a personal relationship with each and every one of us through His Son, Jesus Christ. Until next time, God bless and tight lines.